Okay, so this is going to be a tutorial about what's going on with the lab here. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and bring up this data set. Now, this table is not what we'll be using in the lab. For the lab, there's a social justice element, actually. It's dealing with the number of deaths of people who have interacted with the police. And so what I want you to do is to take, this is all about taking real statistics that people have collected and to analyze them. It's quite a powerful tool. I don't, about the matter of police brutality. I don't care about what your politics are either. Whatever it is fine with me. But I do want you to be able to take real life examples like this and to be able to use them for very practical and pressing issues. So, I mean, if anyone's into, engaging with the matter of police brutality, and some of the surrounding and adjacent issues in society, this might be a really cool and motivating way to practice statistics. So anyway, here you can see, and I'm actually not sure whether you can see my face the way I have this. Either way, this is our data set. And so, well, this is the practice data set rather. Let's scroll to the top. So this practice data set has a longitude and latitude column in the beginning. Our data set that we're going to be using doesn't include the latitude and longitude element. It only has a city column. But given a data set with these latitude and longitude columns, you could actually go ahead and map this if you wanted to. And each of these variables is based on a survey. And so we ask questions, and this is going to be on the these survey questions are also going to be in the lab. But to look at the questions, we can go to this other tab, this dictionary tab here, and so each question in the survey is listed: question 1, question 2, question 3. So here we see the question: what is your preferred mode of transportation other than walking? And the 3 things people could have answered are bike, drive, or public transportation. And secondly, where are you from / where did you grow up? And these include either the city of Philadelphia, the suburbs, or beyond the Philadelphia area. And so the lab, for the data that you'll be working on for the assignment, we'll have a data dictionary. It'll tell you the questions that were asked and what each one means. So a few things that I'll have you do here. You'll do a frequency table, you'll do histograms, and you're going to organize this data and then look at it. So let's just say that, let's go back to the data and let's count how many rows of data there are, how many people and responses are in this data set. And so you can see this right here, this first row, and again, just to remind everybody, when we're talking about, the vertical, that's the column, and the horizontal is the row, right? So the first row is called the header. That's where you can see the titles. And all of the rows next are entries, responses, people responding to those questions. Let's highlight all of this and take a look, scroll all the way down to see how many there are. It stops at row 298. But again, because that first one was just the header and not a response, we want to subtract 1 from that and get 297. And so let's scroll back up. And so let's say that we wanted to, make a frequency table for the commuting question. I'm going to move my head there so that we can see right here. So we're going to want to highlight the commute column. And then after highlighting that, and this is again to make the frequency table, after highlighting that, we go to sort and filter, and we hit from smallest to largest. And right there, it says the 2 choices: expand selection or continue with the current selection. And you should choose expand selection because in that way, it's going to expand the highlighting from not just that one column, but to the entire data set. That'll keep all of the rows consistent with each other, and that'll keep everything, all of the questions will be locked up with that respondent. Otherwise, if you only continue with the current selection, we're only going to be working with this column and it might get sort of arranged differently compared to the rest of the data set. We don't want that to happen. We want it all to stay, the whole data set to stay consistent. So we hit sort there. And so now we can see that under the commute column, each of these numbers represents a different answer. Again, what is your preferred commute? 1, if we go back to the dictionary, we can see 1 equals biking, 2 equals driving, and 3 equals public transportation. So here, all of these ones, which refer to people that responded that they prefer biking, well, they're all coming first as we scroll down. And so you can see this whole column has been arranged so that all the 1s are grouped, 2s and 3s, each one of them grouped together. And so if we want to know, well, okay, again, we have, let's say 297, I'm going to type this on the side here, 297 total responses. Out of those 297, let's see how many people said that they prefer biking. And so we're going to highlight all of the 1s right there. And if we look down on the bottom, we can see that that's a count of 121. So 121 respondents in the survey out of the total of 297 said that they prefer bicycling for commuting. I like to bicycle for my commuting. It's a great way to commute. Good way to get around the city, to stay happy, exercised. You get to see the city. If you do it, wear a helmet, be safe, but it's a great way to get around. So 121 total. And so if we want to find that percentage, well, what we're going to do, and those of you unfamiliar with Excel, it's a great, Excel could be great for just punching in equations. So you can see I have this little cell highlighted, and if I want to do a little bit of math, I can just type the equal sign and then type the equation I want to do, right? And so I want to take the percentage of people who chose the cycling option. That's going to be 121, and I just click on that, and that's entered into the equation, and then I'm going to do divided by the total 297, right? So I hope you see what I did there. If you're unfamiliar with Excel, you might be familiar with this, but if you're unfamiliar, I hope you see that I just clicked on the cell and it's represented. So this is 121 divided by 297 right here. And then if I wanted to, well, again, as you know, if you have a percentage like this, you can just move the decimal point a couple places over, multiply by 100 to get that percentage, right? So 0.40, well, that is moved over, that's 40.74%. So that means that 40.7% of respondents here selected that they prefer bicycling over other forms of public transportation. So that's how you do that right there. I hope that's helpful. And we're going to go on to part 2 next here.